Welcome to Satan is My Superhero. In this episode, we continue our journey with John of Patmos as he tries to convince us he's been to heaven.
You wouldn't know it. It goes to another school in Canada.
Okay, so in chapter 4 of
The Book of Revelation,
John of Patmos claimed to have been beamed up to heaven alien abduction style.
Leave my butthole alone, you filthy aliens.
John also admitted that while experiencing these visions of heaven, he had been in the spirit. So far, John has described Yahweh sitting on a throne, surrounded by a cohort of screeching, terrifying angels, and a council of 24 elders hanging on the Lord's every word.
Heaven sounds like an unmitigated living hell.
Yes, but in its defense, it's also boring.
Chapter 5, Verse 1.
And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within, and on the backside sealed with 7 seals.
The book mentioned there is Yahweh's naughty or nice list.
Santa, I would like a PlayStation for Christmas.
Oh, little Jimmy. I'm sorry, but you thought about boobs after seeing down Mrs. Wilson's top. You're going to be murdered by the omnipotent creator God of the entire universe. Sleep well.
In every Hollywood end of days movie, there's always the 7 seals, but nothing else from Revelation makes it into the final script. What's that all about?
When you first pitched this idea to me, I couldn't believe no one had thought of doing Revelation the movie before.
I know, right? It's so filmic.
Oh my god, it's so filmic. Anywho, the accountants have been through your script and made some cuts. Have a look, see what you think.
They've cut the 7-headed beast rising out of the ocean. The army of locusts with human faces, lions' teeth, and scorpions' tails coming out of the pit of hell. The 200,000 horsemen wearing flaming breastplates, riding horses with lions' heads, breathing fire with tails that are serpents with multiple heads. There's no topless Jezebel riding a dragon. There's no dragon at all.
Yep.
So the only part of Revelation we're keeping in is the 7 seals.
Yes, as long as we only talk about them in dialogue.
Verse 2.
And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice,
Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof?
Hey, no proclaiming with a loud voice. This is a library.
Sorry, I got excited at the possibility of the end of days. I can't wait for it to be over. Not only is heaven an unmitigated living hell, but it's also boring.
Verse 3.
And no man in heaven nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon.
Yahweh made a book no one can open. Typical.
Yahweh, did you superglue the book closed again? That doesn't make it okay.
Verse 4.
And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon.
John's not a great house guest. He comes over to your place, and because you have a book he can't open, he starts weeping.
Why won't you let me open this book?
That's my daughter's diary. I would never.
It's pornography, isn't it?
What?
That's why you won't let me look.
I need you to leave right now.
Can I take the diary?
Oof, here's a real tricky one. Are you ready? Yeah. Verse 5.
And one of the elders saith unto me,
Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David hath prevailed to open the book, and to loose the 7 seals thereof.
In case you're wondering, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, is Jesus.
In the Australian vernacular, David's root means something quite different.
Only Jesus has the authority to open Yahweh's naughty or nice list.
But according to the totally not made up after the books were written Holy Trinity, Jesus is Yahweh. So it's completely meaningless that Jesus knows Yahweh's password.
It's 6969.
John of Patmos is making up his story 100 years before that, so you can't blame him for not knowing about the Holy Trinity.
I sure hope there aren't any unexpected and unjustified doctrinal shifts over the next century, because boy, will I have egg on my face.
Verse 6.
And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent forth into all the earth.
How does John envision these 7 eyes and 7 horns being arranged on the slain lamb? Like, can you imagine the first art department meeting for this concept?
The way I saw it was a perfect circle of 7 eyes and 7 horns around the butthole.
So 9 eyes and horns then?
No, 7.
So this lamb had no eyes on its face or horns on its head?
I'm just telling you what I saw, Brianna.
You must have been staring at that dead lamb's butthole for quite a while to count all those eyes and horns.
Wouldn't you?
Verse 7.
And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne.
So this dead lamb backs up to Yahweh and grabs the book with its chocolate starfish?
Unlikely. Verse 8.
And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odours, which are the prayers of saints.
Golden vials filled of odours, which are the prayers of saints? The prayers of saints are farts and jars, aren't they?
Oh dear, there's been another mass shooting at a kindergarten. I have to fight down the impulse to admit we need societal changes before it happens to my kids, because if I did that, then I wouldn't be owning the libs, and owning the libs is more important than honesty, morality, or the lives of my own children. But I do want to reach out and signal to everyone that I pretend to care. Thoughts and prayers?
Does this ever happen to you?
It's happening to me right now.
Of course it's happening to you. You're in the ad. Just remember what the therapist said. Calm, deep breaths. Calm, deep breaths. Do you want to send something more tangible than thoughts and prayers?
Yes, I do. Is tangible a tangerine-flavored NFT?
Well, worry no more, Pistane. New from Christ Incorporated. Saints Farts in a Jar. Saints Farts in a Jar. Just as effective as prayer, but you can smell it.
Thanks, Saints Farts in a Jar. I can't wait for the next hurricane.
Saints Farts in a Jar. Let them smell you care. Saints Farts in a Jar is a trademark product of Christ Incorporated. Christ Incorporated is a subsidiary of Yahweh International. Stay stupid and keep hating.
Stay stupid and keep hating.
Verses 9 and 10.
And they sung a new song, saying,
Thou art worthy to take the book, and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain, and hast redeemed us to God by thy blood, out of every kindred and tongue, and people and nation, and hast made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth.
So let me get this straight. In heaven, Jesus is a slain lamb with 7 eyes and 7 horns.
Yes.
7 eyes and 7 horns around his asshole.
Well, we mentioned the butthole, but John didn't specify.
I think it's pretty heavily implied in the text.
I don't think it is.
Agree to disagree.
Let's move on. Anyway, so there's 24 elders on their knees singing praise be to a dead lamb who has just made them all God kings.
We as rich biatches.
You'll be very surprised to learn this God kings line is not universally accepted. I know, right? It is not in a lot of other modern translations, and where it shows up in some early manuscripts, actually it reads as...
And hast made them unto our God kings and priests, and they shall reign on the earth.
which I think we can all agree is more in keeping with the totalitarian nature of Christianity. Having said that, you will find King James Version's fundamentalists arguing this line means the true believers will all get to divide up the remnants of the Earth's population after Armageddon and rule their own little fiefdoms.
Gee, I wonder what would happen if a Christian was given control with no fear of reprisals.
Welcome to my post-tribulation kingdom. Rule number 1, there will be absolutely no sex. No one is having any sex at all. I'll make up the rest of the rules as we go. As far as living conditions go, all males work in the fields all day and live in the barn. Older ladies will cook and clean and sleep in the kitchen. Younger females will all live in the big house with me. And that reminds me, rule number 2, rule number 1 does not apply to those of us living in the big house. How was that? I actually rather like that one. There's a bit of a mumbly, and that reminds me. I'm going to do one more, slightly different. Welcome to my post-tribulation kingdom.
Verse 11.
And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beasts and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands.
I'm not saying John of Patmos sounds like a small child making up a story.
How many angels were there, little Johnny?
10,000. Times 10,000. And thousands of thousands.
Verse 12.
Saying with a loud voice,
Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing.
It sounds like being an angel is just simping for Yahweh.
In its defense, it's also boring.
Verse 13.
And every creature which is in heaven and on the earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, Blessing and honour and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb for ever and ever.
Do you think when John said,
And all that are in them,
he knew about bacteria? Did John of Patmos discover germ theory? And follow-up question, can germs go to heaven?
Yes, and that's why you can't get in if you're vaccinated.
This is TT's. Lexi is joking. Get vaccinated, you fucking morons. Yes, this is my voice now. We had to. It's a whole thing. Just get used to it.
Verse 14.
And the 4 beasts said,
Amen.
And the 24 elders fell down and worshipped him that liveth for ever and ever.
I feel like the elders have fallen multiple times at this stage. That's just not advisable at their age.
Me knees! Me precious knees!
I don't know why they bother getting up.
Come on, Lord. You're the omnipotent creator, God of the entire universe, and you require we drop to our knees every time you speak or are spoken about? What's missing from your life?
I've never experienced the touch of someone who truly loved me for just being me.
I don't believe you, Lord. I would believe that about John of Patmos, who lived in a cave with no running water. Are we seeing behind the naked ambition and fantasy of the author?
No, I mean...
No.
We here at Satan is My Superhero don't expect you to fall to your knees or anything.
Getting too old for this.
But a 5-star rating sure would be nice. And if you're going to write a review, something like... And every creature which is in heaven and on the earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, Blessing and honour and glory and power be unto him that subscribe to
Satan is my superhero, 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 superhero.
And unto Lexi, your favourite cast member forever and ever. It's just a suggestion.
What can we take away from this episode? John of Patmos, who has already pretended to be Jesus for 2 chapters, clearly fantasizes were he to find himself in a position of power, he would surround himself with sycophants who drop to the floor and worship him constantly.
That's why I bought Twitter.
Just remember, every time a Christian talks about going to heaven, they are wishing for an eternity on their knees, pleasuring Yahweh. And that's why Satan is my superhero. Thank you so much for listening.
Since this is a short chapter, we thought we'd give you a preview of what's coming up on Patreon. Diary of John of Patmos, Episode 0.
John of Patmos sits alone in his cave, covered in his own filth, furiously scribbling in his diary.
Dear Diary, I'm stuck on the island of Patmos. As desperate as my situation is, I have managed to send out important communications. Dear Mum, conditions here are intolerable. They close the breakfast buffet at 10:30, but I like to sleep in. Replies have been hurtful.
Hi, John. Just received your letter. Quick question. Are you okay?
Unpleasant.
Reading it gave me acid flashbacks.
And suboptimal.
Hey, John, one small problem with your letter telling us not to get swept up in Greco-Roman culture. You wrote it in Greek, dickhead.
Dickhead. Can't they see the end is nigh?
We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die! I should have bought that tactical bath.
It's like that time when I was a child and I saw a dragon.
Holy f***ing shit balls, Mum. It's a dragon.
No one believed me then either. And sure, no dragon ever eventuated, but if it had...
Thank you. I couldn't have done it without the mushrooms.
They don't know what diabolical scheme Yahweh's cooking up for them right now.
Okay, the boss wants a workup on Human Genocide 2.0. What have we got?
An army of locusts with human faces, lion's teeth, and scorpion's tails coming out from the pit of hell. Followed by 200,000 horsemen wearing flaming breastplates, riding horses with lion heads, sans the teeth. I shouldn't have to explain why. Breathing fire. And their tails are serpents with multiple heads.
Right. Do you know what the boss loved the most about the Great Flood?
The cruelty? The unnecessary cruelty.
No, the simplicity. He loved the simplicity.
Of course, the simplicity. Yeah, simplicity, yeah. That was totally going to be my next guess, yeah.
The cruelty was just a bonus.
I'm just trying to warn everyone. I am the Knight Rider. I am the chosen one, the mighty hand of vengeance sent down to strike the unroadworthy. They're coming for us next.
Crucify the Jew! Crucify the Jew! Crucify the Jew!
There's been some kind of mix-up. I'm a Christian.
Oh, sorry about that, mate. My mistake.
Oh, that's perfectly understandable. It happens all the time, actually.
Crucify the Christian.
Crucify the Christian! Crucify the Christian! Crucify the Christian!
Hey, you really can't blame them for wanting to crucify us.
We get persecuted because people are jealous of how awesome we are, and it's our humility. I'm like the most humble person I know. Praise Jesus, amen. Everyone else can burn in hell.
Today, dear diary, I learned whenever I am questioned or hear criticism...
You saw a dude walk on water? And you're only just telling us about it now, Grandad?
Unlikely.
I shall ignore it and turn the other cheek.
Ow, what's wrong with you?
It's a test.
Did I pass? Ow!
You did now.
Thank you so much for listening. Rate, review, subscribe, all that podcast stuff. But most of all, please give us money.
Go to patreon.com/Satan is my superhero.
If you join our Patreon at the Third Circle of Hell, you'll receive access to exclusive content like this.
Oh, damn it, that was a fart. That was a fart instead, damn it.
You should have seen those Jews and pagan faces when I told them how God is his own father and best friend. They acted like they didn't care, but of course they cared. They cared so hard. How could they not? I know they cared.
Which I think we can all agree is more in keeping with the totalitarian nature. Fucking hell. Totalitarian, right? Totalitarian, okay.
And I beheld... Let's get back to John's voice. Mother, this is what... Can I take the diary? Love it.